Woo! So No Man's Sky has been out for a week now, and I thought it was about time I gave my 2 cents, which coincidentally is the budget for this entire YouTube thing I do, on the state of the game itself. No Man's Sky has its problems, and as a dude who, as you can probably tell by the channel, enjoyed following the game all the way up until launch, I have to recognise those problems. I'm not one of those who were so overtaken and overwhelmed by hype that I completely forgot what a goddamn video game was. I didn't think it was going to be some holy and religious abstract experience where you could do anything you wanted, and eventually the sheer power of the procedurally generated universe would absorb and envelop our own universe, creating a new decade of AI revolution and an uprising of procedurally generated overlords. Nah, I thought it was going to be a cool ass video game with cool ass creatures and cool ass planets, and guess what? It is. Seriously, I love the exploration in this game. I find a thrill in just pointing my ship in the direction of a planet, seeing that little undiscovered tag pop up, and visiting a place that nobody has ever seen or been to before. It's honestly one of the biggest technical achievements I've ever seen in a video game ever, just to visit places that no one has ever been before. I mean, in typical open world games, you're like, have you been to this place yet? Have you been to this place yet? When you're discussing it with your friends. But now I'm kind of like, well, I found this the other day. And it's like, it's a completely new perspective you can bring to the table when in a discussion. And that's honestly one of the most awesome things about this game. But as I said, No Man's Sky has its problems. There's a very tight gameplay loop that has you doing the same things over and over again. There's no real incentive to go down to planets to mine resources other than plutonium or iridium and all the other items you need to create a warp cell, because as soon as you have that warp cell, you can move along. There's what, 3 planets in at least every solar system on average? Well, I've had it before where I've gone to one planet, spent around half an hour there, and already had enough resources and materials to create my next warp cell, fuel my hyperdrive, and off I go again to repeat the cycle. It just doesn't feel like there's really a need to go down to certain planets, which is obviously not great when the whole game is based on the idea that there's 18 quintillion planets which are all unique and different. I feel this is where the game gets divisive for some people. It's a very grindy game. If you want to get to the center, you're going to have to grind it out, and as is the nature of grinding, it gets a little bit repetitive. Trust me, I know from my nights out around town. Trust me, I get very bored when I'm grinding all the time, especially when people tell me to stop grinding on them. I mean, what is their problem? Now, the other end of the spectrum is those people that like to explore, and for those people, this game is awesome. You explore, you discover, you craft new stuff to make sure that you explore and discover a bit further, and it's really cool to see those people who wanted a pure explorative experience having their desires fulfilled, because it definitely fulfilled mine, and that is honestly one of my favourite parts of the game. Like, you can stop at any point on a planet despite the sheer scale of each planet, you know, being planet-sized, and if you land anywhere on that planet, there is always something nearby, like a monolith, a drop pod, a shelter, an NPC, and I really enjoy and respect the game in that regard. Of course, there could be a bit more variation in terms of buildings, in terms of NPCs and what they do, but at least the game gives you an incentive to go and explore these planets once you're actually on them. So let's talk about the elephant in the room, the price. I paid full price for the game on day 1. I ran down to the store at like 9 AM and picked it up, and the real question is, do I think this game is worth it? Is it worth a full-priced $60 price tag? Well, it depends what you want out of it. If you want a full-fledged combat sim with dynamic flying and battles, this game is not worth a buy just yet. I mean, maybe in the future, maybe after a bunch of patches, but not yet. This is not Battlefield, this is not some sort of realistic space battle sim, this is not any of that. So if you want all that stuff, if you want a grandiose space opera full of battles and teeming civilizations and whatnot, then don't buy it just yet. Wait for a price drop, do what you gotta do. However, if you want an explorative open world around every corner, a distinctive, gorgeous graphic style with, honest to God, one of the best soundtracks I have ever heard in a video game ever, based around a generative engine that is super impressive with all the survival aspects sprinkled in, then by all means pick up the game. My thought process is that this game is going to be updated a lot like Minecraft. I mean, if you think back at how bare bones Minecraft was at the start to what it is now, then the contrast is massive. So just remember that you're not just paying for the vanilla title, you're paying for all the updates that come with it. Hell, look at Destiny after the Taken King update. People ate that up when at the start people didn't despise Destiny. Give the game a shot, give it a chance, because I promise you that the game is nothing less, and I don't think I'm wrong by saying this, than good. It's a good game, it's not fantastic, definitely not Game of the Year, but good, and it's only going to get better with all the updates. So, that is my thought process after a straight week of No Man's Sky. If you enjoyed the video, then make sure you give it a like and subscribe for more No Man's Sky content every week, but for now, this has been Steve, that has been No Man's Sky, checkpoint complete.